A billionaire's only heir disappeared without a trace. For an entire year, his family searched everywhere, but he was gone. What they didn't know was that he had forgotten his own name and was living as a poor farmer after a struggling family saved his life. Then he fell in love with their daughter. But when his billionaire family finally found him, he was forced to choose between the life he was born into and the woman who loved him before she knew he was rich. Watch until the end, because the choice he made changed one family's future forever.
The city glittered beneath the morning sun. 28-year-old Daniel Sterling was the only son of billionaire businessman Richard Sterling, owner of one of the country's largest construction companies. Daniel had everything: luxury cars, private jets, expensive suits, a mansion overlooking the city skyline. But unlike many wealthy heirs, Daniel was kind, humble, and respected by everyone who knew him. His parents dreamed of handing over the family empire to him. One Friday afternoon, Daniel decided to drive alone to inspect one of the company's new projects in a nearby town. His parents warned him, "Take your security team." Daniel smiled. "I'll be fine. It's just a short trip." It would be the last time they saw him. Rain poured heavily as Daniel drove along a lonely mountain road. A speeding truck lost control around a sharp bend. Daniel swerved to avoid it. His car crashed through the guardrail and tumbled into a river below. The vehicle was swept downstream. The truck driver never realized another vehicle had gone over the cliff. Daniel managed to crawl out before the car sank, bleeding from his head, barely conscious. He collapsed on the riverbank. When he finally opened his eyes, he couldn't remember his own name. Several miles away lived the Johnson family. Thomas Johnson worked long hours as a farmer. His wife, Mary, sold vegetables in the village market. Life was difficult. Some nights they went to bed hungry. Their greatest treasure was their daughter, 24-year-old Grace. Grace was beautiful, not because of expensive clothes, but because of her kindness. Every evening she walked to the river to collect water. That day, she found an unconscious man lying near the shore. She screamed for help. Her parents rushed over. Although they had almost nothing, they carried the stranger home. The village doctor treated his wounds. When asked his name, he simply whispered, "I don't know." The Johnson family called him David since he couldn't remember his real name. Weeks turned into months. David slowly recovered. Although he remembered nothing about his past, he worked harder than anyone else. He repaired fences, planted crops, fetched water, helped elderly neighbors. Everyone admired his humility. Grace spent every day caring for him. At first, she only wanted him to recover, but little by little, their friendship blossomed into love. One evening, they sat beneath a giant mango tree watching the sunset. Grace smiled. "Do you ever wish your memory would return?" David looked at her. "Sometimes. But if remembering means losing this life, I'm afraid." Grace lowered her eyes. She knew one day someone might come looking for him. Months passed. Their love became impossible to hide. The villagers already called them husband and wife. Meanwhile, Daniel's parents searched everywhere. Private investigators, police, helicopters, reward posters. Millions of dollars were spent. The media declared him missing. His mother cried every night. His father blamed himself for allowing Daniel to travel alone. Nearly 1 year passed without a single clue, until a fisherman recognized the face on an old missing person poster. He remembered seeing a man who looked exactly like Daniel living in a farming village. The Sterling family rushed to the village. Luxury SUVs arrived, astonishing everyone. Grace watched in confusion. A wealthy woman ran toward David. Tears streamed down her face. "My son," David stepped backward. "I don't know you." His father hugged him tightly. Doctors confirmed his identity through fingerprints. David wasn't David. He was Daniel Sterling, the billionaire heir. Daniel agreed to travel back with his parents. Grace smiled through tears. "If this is where you belong, go." Daniel wanted to stay, but he hoped doctors could restore his memory. After weeks of treatment, old memories slowly returned. His childhood, his parents, his company, everything, everything. Except one thing remained stronger than all the memories of wealth: Grace, the girl who loved him when he owned nothing. One morning, Daniel shocked the board of directors. "I'll be away for several days," his father asked. "Business trip?" Daniel smiled. "No, I'm going home." The village buzzed with excitement as luxury vehicles approached. Grace assumed they had come to buy farmland. Instead, Daniel stepped out wearing a simple white shirt, no expensive suit, no bodyguards around him. He walked directly to the Johnson family's small house. Grace froze. "Daniel," he smiled. "I remembered everything." She forced a smile. "I'm happy for you." Then she whispered, "Goodbye." Daniel gently took her hand. "No, I came back because I finally remembered what truly matters." Daniel turned to Thomas and Mary. "You saved my life. You fed me when you barely had enough. You gave me a family before I even knew who I was. There's no amount of money that can repay your kindness." Within months, the old wooden house disappeared. A beautiful modern home stood in its place. Daniel built irrigation systems for local farmers. He opened a medical clinic. He funded a new school, created jobs, improved roads. Hundreds of families found hope. The village was transformed, not because of charity alone, but because one struggling family had first shown kindness without expecting anything in return. A year later, the village witnessed the most beautiful wedding it had ever seen. Grace wore a simple but elegant white gown. Daniel couldn't stop smiling. Business executives sat beside farmers. Millionaires celebrated with villagers. Rich and poor danced together. During the reception, Daniel raised his glass. "If I had never lost my memory, I would never have found the greatest treasure of my life." He looked at Grace. "And that treasure is you." The crowd erupted in applause. Years later, people often asked Daniel what the greatest investment of his life had been. Was it real estate, stocks, construction? He always gave the same answer: "The greatest investment I ever made was returning to the people who loved me before they knew I was rich." Because true wealth isn't measured by money. It's measured by the hearts that stand beside you when you have nothing. Sometimes life takes everything away, so it can give us something far more valuable. If this story touched your heart, leave a comment below and tell us what you would have done if you were Daniel. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who believes kindness is never wasted. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next story.